So hello everyone, Myrmonden here, and welcome to my live reaction later review. Think about Attack on Titan chapter 94, and this manga is going down the drains, right? It's just like, what the hell is happening? Go back to Aaron. Like, Jesus Christ, man. No one cares about this war. It's just completely weird. And actually it has so many plot holes, it's one to scream. And it was like, oh, Titans can't fight boats. We know this, we've seen our Titan armies are shit against boats. It's like, but these two guys over there had killed 54 boats of them. It's like, how? How does it make any sense? It's like, if Titans cannot fight boats, right? Ships or whatever, battleships, how can Eren and Armin kill, like, bedillion boats, right? It doesn't make any sense. The only two of them. Like, they have more, and they have an armor of, like, Venom Titans, which I guess are used against boats. I mean, I agree with that. It's like, how can they do it so easily? Like, that is like, and why can't they just fly over there? Like, they know that they exist. So why would they use Zeppelins or whatever in airships and fly over and scout, like, Paradise? Or, like, oh, to Rockstars. Like, just like, come on! It makes no sense. There's so many plot holes. It's like, why haven't Zeke told them? Is he actually not evil in a sense? It's like, it's just so weird. And again, why should we care about these people that are so indoctrinated? They have no free will, right? Because I don't buy it. It's actually completely wrong psychology. Yes, you can definitely trick people, get them to believe in so on. But basically, this story is like, it's like the Nazis, enslaving the Jews, right? And convincing them to fight for them quite easily, right? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I like the part, finally, when he confirmed that, okay, this kamikaze Titans were forced to do it, and yada yada, if they didn't join them, that makes sense. But it still is like, how many rebellions it would be, right? And it's like, say it again, it's like Jews being saved by Nazis at camps and so on, right? But they have superpowers, right? But it's like, no! Like, they will take the chance to fight them and escape and so on as often as they can, right? That's what happens when you do this thing. When you're so extremely... And I think that they really mistreat them too. It makes no sense that they really, really mistreat them. Because we see them in the last chapter, we see them sitting there being like, oh, fuck Eldians. So they're letting some of these Ottomans, they're supposed to be like Arabs or Turks or something, they're letting them, be alive so they can tell them about the Titans. And then we see the Titan guys, they're like, fuck. Just because we're Eldians, those people are gonna go around and tell the world about how shitty we are. And it's like, yeah, so you should hate the Marleys because they are just doing that for you, right? It's like, yeah, you should hate them. It makes no sense, right? Like, they will be so, they will never, like, the problem is that not only is it, some really stupid how easy it is for them to do it, they do it in a bad way too, right? Like, those kind of moments, that will just create so much, unrest and so on in the country from their slave strike, because they're like, oh, look at these slaves, we send this kind of to that is just a horrible method to do it. They can do it in secret or something, like in front of them. Like, that will just create so much hate for them. It's just so badly written. Anyway, it's chapter, but I want to say again how little it makes sense and how extremely unexcited I am to actually read about these Titan people here, or Eldians, that, they want to be shifters, because they are really, really stupid, and they really, really doesn't make any sense. Like, they should do anything they can to do a rebellion, right? So to get powers, just fight them and so on. That would make much more sense. Or not all of them, but at least some of them would be. They even have this, it's a really good documentary we can read about the rebellion. That's about 10% of the population, or whatever, like humans, has this gene where they kind of like, nope. Like, if you go, it's a really good image. I wish I could put it here now. About a guy that doesn't hate Hitler. It's like, everyone is like hailing Hitler, right? And there is this image here where he's like, no, I won't do this shit, right? That's a great image there. There are always people that are like, no, but that you cannot convince. They call it the rebellion. You have that in your DNA. You use anti-authority guy. You cannot convince the people. They're like, fuck this shit, right? Yeah, and the Eldians would have those people, and they would be like Kruger. He would be one of those guys, yeah. And those people would those people would probably be the most motivated to get the shifter powers, so they could be like, fuck you, yeah, fuck you, Nazis, like that. Because it's basically all that they use, right, in this sort of Nazis, and the World War II setting and everything, right? They would be like, oh, I want those powers, I'm gonna pretend to like them, and then I'm gonna fuck them over. Like, if we, and that's what I'm getting here, because if we follow this girl and so on. And we saw them, she's plotting like, I'm gonna be a Titan, so I can fucking kill all these bastards. And that was her like backstory, and you can see her backstory, like that. That would be like, yeah, okay, nice. So hopefully if it happens in the chapter, that we will see her actually like, okay, yeah, that's the backstory. Like, that's her actual motivation. But right now, she's like, oh, I wanna be a slave. It's like, what? I wanna kill my cousins. Because, yeah, think about that too. They're mainly using them, not right now in the story, but early in the story, they're using them to fight their own race also. I mean, like, do you think about that, right? Like, they are basically used again here, because they're definitely used this now. So, I mean, the analogy is very clear, right? And it's like, okay, so we have the use with powers, and we send them to fight other use and eat other use. It's like, come on! Like, the chance of that, you have to mind for those people, really, really hard to do that. And I mean, most of them, like Ranger battles, and they choose, desert, right? Most of them just go over to Paris and tell them, okay, yeah, actually, I'm on that army, but, fuck those people. Yeah, that should be the natural reaction. That would literally be, but it's really hard to like break people down in the way they're doing it. The mythology is so bad that I really hate this manga right now, because they're showing how they do it, and how they do it is just so stupid. Like, it makes no sense. The way you can break down a civilization, right, into you or incorporate them, is by actually assimilate them into you, right? But it's like, lit my cigarette, slave. Like, they're talking to that. Like, they're like entering this house and like, wipe my ass, you fucking lose it. That's how they treat them, right? Like, they will never bow down to you like that. It doesn't work. Like, there have been hundreds of civilizations that incorporate all civilizations, right? For example, the Romans did it all the time. They added in people new into their, different multiculturals. We're very good with that. But the Romans, when they entered, like, Persia or something, and they took over some place, they were like, here guys, we can build an aqueduct and get you water here. They're like, really? Yeah, we have really good engineers, so we can do this and this for you. We can also like spray through mountains, so we can do this water thing. They're like, so Romans are pretty good. They're like, yeah, we have this thing, we have better education systems. Like, they actually get them into their, like, yeah, actually, maybe I want to be a Roman. So a lot of people actually wanted to join the Roman Empire. People even, a lot of people actually joined them voluntarily. I'm a history buff, I love history. Like, a lot of people actually joined them, by, priests. They were like, yeah, if I help you in this war, can I join you later? They'd be like, okay, but then you have to fight for like 20 years or something. Like, if you're a civilian or whatever in another country and you become Roman, you have to fight for them 20 years thing in the army, and then you have your Roman, like, green cards and that, yeah. And people would do that, because they're like, fucking, these guys are awesome, they really use army, they have really good technology, like, I want to join that, yeah. They didn't get them to join them, but be like, enter the country, be like, fucking bitches, just punches them around, like, you are slaves now, and then like, 100 later, they're like, yeah, drink my piss, you slave. They're like, yeah, those people are still gonna hate you, even if you're forced to do that for 100 years. That doesn't really work very well on most humans, right? Like, that, it works on some people. You can definitely break them down like that. But a lot of people will be, like, the thing is that even if you break them down really, really hard, they would be like, okay, they will do what you say. You might get like a really willing slave like that. But they are breaking down in the sense that as soon as they can escape, they might not do it because they're afraid of, failing, and so on. But if they have a really big chance of escaping, like someone is a slave and someone freaking like dying something in real life, they will escape when they have the chance to escape, like a big good chance, even if they normally don't do it because they're really mentally broken down, right? And that's why this never makes sense because they break them down, I suppose, and then they give them freaking Titan powers. So like, yeah, you're still following us, right? Most people be like, no, because now I can transform into a fucking monster and kill you, so why would I follow you now? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It is so bad. And of course, especially Reinhardt and those guys that entered paradise, they would be like, whoa, this is our actual people. We're attacking our own race here. They'd probably be like, yeah, we probably should join them instead. We have a chance to desert now because we're already at enemy country. They even think that we are with the enemy, like we are joining the enemy army in that sense. And the enemy, we are actually just our race, right? And so on. So this is so stupid. Anyway, okay, rant over. Let's. Okay, everyone, let's read the chapter. If you watched my rant before, yeah, just really, really bad, right? Let's read Attack on Titan chapter 94. okay, we can break alive, terrible love homeland. I hate this character, I hate her. Like, why would she love them so much? She should just escape them. The boy inside the wall, maybe finally gonna be like arrow or something, I don't know, but yeah. It's just horrible. Liberio. Yeah, like why would Gabi be so, happy being with them and so on? It just makes no sense. Yeah, there's some alcohol. Yeah, there's she can barely walk right because of her 4 arms. Seek, for goodness sake, let's put in picture. Officer Brown. Yeah, really good. 4 years ago, he took on the footbridge for the failure of Paradise Island and was stuck in precarious position, about to have his armor titan power revoked. Well, because of the country's military gains, he had to fight other wars in other countries. Dead man holds and demonstrate more loyalty than Marley. Yeah, Raynor Brown. I mean, I hope Raynor is like, fuck this shit, right? It's just, oh my god, why can't they never use break free? It would make so much more sense if we saw, Raynor or Seek and so on be like, let's fuck the Parrot, fuck Marley. This is our long plan. I mean, especially if Seek was shown to not have told them about his blood. Like, then Seek is our traitor, right? Or like, what has that? Like, he's truly indoctrinated, like, he's truly mental breaking down, but he still made him kill his parents, but he didn't tell them everything about his parents. Like, that just makes no sense. I mean, it's just so much plot holes. So much plot holes. If anyone else over here that he'd be dipped, but yeah. If Mr. Brown thinks what I'm thinking. Yeah, and she's like, what are you scheming? And Gabi's. Sinful woman, Gabi. Yeah, they don't ever staring at them. Like, this is a huge problem. He's really bad at this. He writes this really badly. I'm honestly, this is no understanding of how you break down. As I mentioned with the Romans and so on, it's like these people would never, assimilate into your country if you hate them, right? I mean, that's pretty much all the media going on. Right? This is ridiculous how everyone is an enormous racist against the army, right? Like, everyone's like, fucking Eldians! And you're supposed to believe these Eldians are like, oh, we want to join this country, and like we fought there for 100 years now, so we can finally be part of the country. And everyone's like, fucking, everyone's like super racist against them. Everyone hates them. I mean, yes, they're monsters, so it makes more sense, but it still is like, yeah, they would never, like, the general population of the Eldians wouldn't be like, yay, Marley. They would be like, fuck Marley. It's like, a few people would be breaking down. Like, there was an example of a black guy that joined the Hitler Jugend in, I think it's like 41 or 40, 1940. And he was huge into this, killing Jews and stuff like that. He was a crazy guy. And he basically was a black guy, he was a black person, and Afro-European. And he was like, I want to join this thing. And he did a lot of horrible shit. Okay, I thought about it much. But basically, he did everything. So he was worse than, the normal Jugend guy, because he was like, I want to really be in your Hitler squad. Yeah, so he was horrible. He was worse than the random, German white guys, because he wanted to be, in the army, so to speak. But obviously they were like, we're never gonna let him really join. Yeah, so he was a complete fool, of course, because they never truly, of course, liked him because he wasn't white. So they never really gave him a possibility, but that made him even worse. So he kept doing worse stuff, like worse transgressions, than what the normal Jugend army guys did, because he was like, yes, I'm gonna join one day, right? So obviously there are few people, if you have them in the Eldians position, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill fucking every Eldian and every fucking Ottoman. I'm gonna fucking kill them all, so I can be part of the Marley. Yeah, someone's gonna be that. Gabi's having that. So a few people are gonna be that. But basically, you have to use those few people and give them shifted powers. But they can also be faking that and actually have the rebel lead and just wanna be do whatever they can to actually do a rebellion, right? So it's like, it's very, very tricky. Yeah, but I would say I'm not super into this, but I think that the rebel lead is about 10% of the population, according to the research, right? And that other part, like this super acceptance of like this, that kind of mentality, that's probably like just a few percentage. Looking at history, in real life history, There's probably like 1-2%. So I think there's 100 that would be that convinced that they would finally get a chance. Like really, really fanatic convinced. That's probably less than rebellion by a tenth. So the chance of finding people shifters is really, really hard. Like, that will fail to do this every time. You have to do it, every 13 years, right? And every time you do that, it's a 10 to 1, in my research mind here, 10 to 1 chance to either find a rebel guy that's like, does everything to the rebel, he's faking being a mind guy, or you find that mind broken guy that actually will do everything for you. But the other guy, they will act the same pretty much, right? They will act pretty much the same, in the beginning. So, so I was like, this would never work. Anyway, use this page here, page 7, just tells me again here why this is a huge plot hole thing here. Because this is not how you incorporate an army of people. Because they're like, racist, yeah, and that would never work. They would hate you, so... yeah, whatever. Here we see people, this is so... I mean, this like the Nazi and Jew thing. It's like, okay, so they enter this like big camp with walls around, people are standing there, they even have the same clothes. They look like the Jews, right? This is just like the Jews and the Nazis. And that way, again, like if the Nazis couldn't get like all the Jews to kill all the Jews, they could get a few to do it, but like mainly they couldn't do it. But yeah, so this, God, this manga. But yeah, they have some camps here in the town, right? Some ghetto and it's armored. Yeah, this is basically just a Nazi camp. It's Auschwitz, pretty much, right? This is, taken right out of World War II. Okay. So is that Sikh's action? This is interesting to know. 10 page here. Grandma, yeah, because obviously we know that. Yeah, the Jäger household. I mean, we know his grandparents. They were shit, right? They were like, oh, our daughter died, whatever. Like, yeah, they were like, yeah, we have to just take it up the ass, right? So. And they are like, yeah, hugging Sikh and so on. So they are very like, yay, let's kill all the Eldians. Yeah, they're very, very much against the rebellion, right? Which is just shitty. But you can see like the son then, he was like, oh, Mr. died, he got the rebellion, I'm gonna fucking kill all of them. I'm gonna get revenge, right? And, statistically, in human minds, that would happen with at least every 10 person. So, always, like, that is how humanity works. So this is really hard. It's really hard to get it to work. Sorry, my everything crashed. Anyway, so they're back here to Sikhs, grandparents, of course, and just like I mentioned again, it feels like as their son acted, that would happen to at least every 10 person, probably more. That's how they are really should be treated. So this is why I don't like this manga. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, it's based on nothing how human actually works. It aren't actually humans, I guess, but like I mean, for the analogy to like Nazi and Jews here, like so extremely strong. It's always been that, but those are even at like a internment camp, right? So yeah. And this is Gabi's parents here, yeah. Yeah, you say those, blah blah blah. I mean, at least this, I can tell you this though. At least this war, it makes more sense, and they're proud of her so on. Because at least this war, I would give this manga this war makes a lot more sense because now they are fighting, let's say Ottomans, right? They're fighting, Mina Regan and something like that. So they're fighting, I think I'll say the Ottomans, and that makes like cool stuff. Yeah, but that makes a lot more sense, right? So that they'd be happy that our daughter. She killed a lot of, whatever, Turks or something. That's great because they're killing someone that isn't Eldian. Or white, whatever. Obviously, it's very, like, racism here. So, back and forth. This is very heavily racism and, and so on, right? And inequalities between people and so on. So, I mean, it makes more sense here. This is like World War II or like World War I, I suppose, because they're kind of like cream. But yeah, I can give this manga this. This makes a lot more sense here. That the parents are happy that she has killed, X number of whatever, like black people, right there, like, whatever, because, and they were then the old people, right? So that, I can give it that makes more sense here in this setting, but a lot more sense actually, thinking about it. But still, right, it feels like the other guys like Rain or so on, they would be like, I don't want to go and kill my own people at some island that they are living in like peace. Like, yeah, I guess they don't even have war with them, right? That's the weird thing, like, They don't even have war with them. Like, Paradise isn't at war with the Marley. Like, they are kinda, but they have like a peace. It's like kind of like North and South Korea, right? Like, they have this kind of standstill, but they don't actually have an active war. But more like, yeah, let's go fight them anyway. It's kind of like that, right? It's like, you know, that would make it really hard, because to make your army, to make your, you know, units, whatever, right? You guys, your soldiers, to be like, oh, we're gonna attack our own people that haven't even done anything. We're gonna attack them to claim the land that they own. Like, yeah, that would be hard. Right? That would be really hard to motivate. Anyway, here's the Rainer's family, mother. I bet you are exhausted. And yeah, and Gab's like, Auntie Karina! Yay, party! And here's a lot of like injured Eldians, I guess, with one arm and so on. And can't even walk straight! Because these are Eldians though, injured. Yeah, this thing too, that they're like some Eldians, they will guess. Probably use them as Titan food later on, like just making them Titan, because then the arms will regrow or something. Like, yeah, if you get injured, you're pretty much fucked, right? Probably. I'm guessing. Now, like this thing, like, come on! Like, this, I think this is crap, honestly. I think this is crap! They have like PTSD. And he's like, bang! He screams out and like scares all the Eldians. And they're like, oh, they fall down because they all have. And he laughs at them, and they're like, come on, let's take. And then all the soldiers like, come on, let's waste our time to do that. Let's just carry them on. Like, this to me is really bad writing, to be honest, because this makes no fucking sense. But yeah, first of all, it's forced again that Marley are crap storm. We don't know that they're feeding Eldians to dogs and so on, so whatever. But this again just enforces why this doesn't work. Like, they should. It's so bad. This is not how. Why would they follow them? Like, he does it in front of fucking everyone. Everyone's like, whoa, we're happy, we're back after war, and you know, they're celebrating. And then to next to them, this like really racist guy is like, oh, are you scared a lot of Titan guys? And they were falling down, like, yeah. And next to them, this guy's like being super racist right next to them when they're celebrating. And you think that those people will be like, yeah, I want to join that army. I want to join that country. It's like, no! Like, Jesus Christ, no! It's one thing that they will be, you know, treating them bad and so on to break them down, but also giving them rewards for loyalty and so on. That makes sense. But this kind of like super racist action in the front of everyone after they're celebrating, and he's like, oh my god, this makes no sense in manga. If you say this is good, you have no understanding of psychology. Like, this is just like, yeah, like this you know, this has no, you know, addition to, right, human psychology, right? Jesus Christ, like, he's helping them here, right? This kid, he's kind of like, you know, I don't want to really actually be in the army, right? Yeah, and he's helping them. And the rest of people also be like, fuck them or Marley. Like, this, I mean, the only thing they're ever doing, they want people is creating more rebellions, right? If they follow actual psychology. I'm so pissed off with this manga. This manga is just like, you know, giving me fucking, you know, like fucking pain, like mental pain of reading how little it makes sense in reality. Like, no one will ever follow them, ever. This is the worst assimilation process. This is the worst integration assimilation I've ever seen in my life, pretty much. this is like, think about it. Like, the Jews were treated like this by the Nazis, pretty much. But Nazis wanted to kill them all, so they didn't want the Jews to, you know, yeah, let's join the Nazis, like that. This is a big problem here, because this is so analogy, Jews and Nazis, like, that's pretty much all the time what's happening. But they still want them to fight for them and so on, and it doesn't make any sense. Oh my god. This is just my rant, yeah. And I fell to the ground. I mean, I said it before in my rant before, right? It's like, you should never follow them, because it's just like, wow. And, you know, you still feel nothing for like Gabi and so on, because they're so stupid. Like, these people have zero understanding happening around them. Yeah. They're talking about Gabi's act here. Yeah, boom! My aim was perfect. Rainer looks very pissed off. Talking about this, they had a crazy plan. But I was making my escape, the enemy. I mean, I can get that she is happy though. I mean, I get Gabi in a sense because she is probably, as I mentioned earlier, one of those like, yeah, I would kill anyone in my own race just to join other race. Yeah, that's kind of people that are extremely rare. They're like, yeah, I just want to sacrifice everyone for my thing. And she's happy because she succeeded with this crazy plan. So I get that she's like fanatically joining them. But everyone else would be like fucking this shit. Like everyone else would be like, oh my god, these people are the worst racist scumbags ever. You know? It's like I talked about earlier, you might be really scared of someone, so you would follow them as long as you can't escape. But as soon as you can escape, you would escape. Like any dungeon thing, and would be like, yeah, you get powers. You have superpowers. Yeah. Yeah, right, I guess she will be a shifter. Yeah, a warrior. So they have a clan. Yeah, so Gabi Rainer of family. Because she's like, it's incredible that our clan is able to offer up 2 warriors, yeah. Yeah, so the... Yeah, I mean, and again, it's like, if only those demons will be living on the island will disappear, then we Eldians will be happy. Like, how would you believe that? This is so shitty writing. Like, I cannot believe that anyone would be like that in reality. Like, I heard people, but in general, like, how many people actually would believe that? Because she just fucking saw this guy, like, scaring PTSD in your, like, classic, like, Gulf War, PTSD people, and like laughing at it, like, oh, fucking Eldians, you're scared. Like, you saw that guy being this, like, uber racist guy, like, next to her, while they were celebrating. She's like, the div is on that island. It's like, come on, woman, you saw that guy. He's a fucking bad person. And he's pretty much the consensus person of the Marleys. Right? We see them returning from the war, and everyone's like, fucking Eldians. Everyone's like giving the super racist face, like, I wish you all would burn, yeah, and so on. And she would sit at home being like, it's the other you's fault that us hates us. Like, he's like, oh my god, how? Because you can't break people in that much. The problem is that, like, it's such a plot hole, because if, let's say it again, if, and I really want to point out, if there would be, like, North Korea today, something, right? And people are very, they have very information there, and this and that works out, right? Because North Korea is very well how they group people, right? Everyone is spying on everyone, they have little information, so on. But she actually knows about, like, paradise. She probably knows about the general backstory. They tell her, but she knows about that, and so on, right? And all aliens are horrible, and so on. She knows that information, that myth. However, though, she sees how the Marley treat them, right? That's the problem, right? If they tell her this myth, say that aliens are fucking horrible, you are of this horrible race, you're fucking shit. But then they will treat them, not necessarily kindly, they will treat them with, like, fairness, right? They will treat them with being slaves, being captured because they're because you're scary, so because you're a demon. But they will treat them with fairness, like, okay, you're a demon, but we are civilized, so we're gonna, like, as long as you live here, don't do any shit, we won't kill you, and yada yada, and we want you to fight for us, and so on. And they will act, like, civilized. Then that myth could be believed in. But the problem is that the Marleys, they're acting as fucking douchebags all the time. So no one in their right mind would ever believe in their general plan, right? Because they're basically saying that, okay, we are the good guys, those are the bad guys, and then they are acting as bad guys all the time themselves, right? A very simple view for that. Like, they're saying that they are good, everyone is bad, but they're acting horribly to everyone constantly, and they're fighting everyone in war and blah blah and so on, and they're just really, really bad people. Like, so that doesn't make any sense, right? It's very classy, right? Doesn't make any sense. That's why I mentioned earlier with the Romans. The Romans were like, yeah, we kill everyone against us, we fucking enslave people, we have this and this. But the Romans were acting usually more civilized than people they were actually capturing, right? And having better technology and so on. So they would actually be like, yeah, okay, it kind of makes sense that you actually, like, they had better law system and so on, right? So they would actually be like, yeah, okay, they're claiming they're the good guys. They can act like the good guys in the sense that they are legally the good guys. So to speak, they don't do shit just because doing shit, right? The Marls are that's why I really hate manga, because the Marls are, like, acting so stupidly bad all the time. Like, they're oh, we're evil, like that kind of, like, ridiculous evil action and super racist all the time. This scene here, I hate this picture because she's like, yeah, the fucking demons on the island. Like, Why? Don't you fucking see your neighbor like kicking people, like feeding fucking people to dogs? Like, don't you see that? It's like, come on, like you wouldn't get a random woman to believe in that if you don't act like that, right? I mean, obviously you can fake it. You could be the worst fucking racist ever, and you know, and you can treat them racist. Obviously you can hate them, and you can treat them. It's like somewhat bad, but it's like ridiculous, like, you know, like freaking, you know, Hollywood 18 movie bad, like, oh, yeah, that kind of like ridiculous evil that they have all the time just makes no sense. It's just, oh god. Like her, Karina here, Auntie Karina's argument is just like, you know, like, it's just so few people would believe in that. I mean, if one thing, if you acted civilized, told them that they are fucking shit, and treat them like, you know, general shit, but you're still civilized and doing it, then, you know, maybe half or so might be believing it. But it's just so few people would be like fanatically, yeah, obviously they're the good guys. I mean, they act like absolute douchebags all the time, but they are the good guys. Like, yeah, like, this is what happened. Yeah, and Gab be like, don't worry, we're free. Island demons, so I mean, obviously they believe in that. Like, I absolutely understand that they believe that paradise people are horrible. Like, that's one thing, but they do see how they are treated by. So I mean, in the worst case, it's like, you know, it's like, you know, lesser of two evils, right? There's no way people would be like, oh yeah, these guys protecting us are obviously the good guys. Like, why? They're acting absolutely horrible all the time. Yeah, whatever. God, reading things just makes me angry, and this is pure anger. Thank you, Gabi. Even though we won the war, nothing has changed. We still don't know what those islanders might cause the end of the world. I mean, yeah, I can live with that they're really afraid of the paradise people. They have this huge thing. They have the coordinate power. I can live with that. That makes sense. That makes sense. But it's just that, it's like they wouldn't like the Marley. It's one thing that they would be like, yeah, they have to kill the Eldians because they're fucking crazy of paradise. But they wouldn't be like, well, they have killed those, the Marley would treat us nice. Like, why would you believe that? Like, what are you basing your life on that? So you live your whole life seeing these uber racist people like kicking you, raping you, killing you, people all around you all the time, right, pretty much. And you're like, yeah, but in like 5 years when we kill the other guys from our race, then they will like us. Like, come on, no one's fucking gonna believe that. At least the Marley pretended to treat them nicely, somewhat. I mean, not like, they get to treat them like shit and have them in camps and everything, but it is like, treat them with, you know, this kind of loyal fairness. Oh, you died, like, think about this. You have this, like, injured people in the army coming back, like veterans, right? Classic Indian veterans. They have a huge respect in countries, right? Especially in the US for the veterans. And here we have veterans coming back, early veterans, and they get like kicked around and like made fun of by the Marley. And they would be like, wow, the Eldians should be like, fuck's sake, those people are fighting for us, they're fighting for our survival, and you're treating them like absolute garbage shit and you're laughing at them and like, oh, you're so slow with one leg and like, like, you really wouldn't like them all. Yeah, that would piss off so many people, right? Just generally, right? And especially, I would say they would treat the veterans even better, the Eldians, because they're fighting against their own race and so on, or other race, for other races and so on. They're even more, right, you know, it's kind of slave fighters that has to really succeed, or else the permanent home get killed or whatever. They're really like enforced veterans. They really have this horrible fight with monsters and so on, and they're coming back with like one arm, one leg, and they're like, and it's like, what? There would be so much outrage hating us that. Sure, everyone wouldn't act on it. The thing is that I'm not saying that the aliens should all be like, yeah, let's do a rebellion every day, but it's more like, you know, they should. It makes so much more sense if they were like, yay, fucking aliens on the paradise, fucking demons, you know, when they are next to the Marley. Then at home, like, no, they're eating this, you know, nice dinner, they would be like, yeah, there should be more. I can't believe that general was like kicking around, you know, injured veterans, fucking bastard. If only the demons could die so we can finally get out of this. Like, that would make much more sense if they had at least some resentment against the Marley. They'd be like, ugh, that was bad, but it still is the island's fault, right? That would make more, if they at least acknowledged that the Marley are treating them like shit, right? And then they would say, okay, but it still is the island's fault because of this reason, right? And then they would do that thing. That would make so much more sense if they have some kind of like, you know, mental struggle, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. But they don't. Instead they use like, fucking Eldians. Yeah, it's just, oh god. Anyway, yeah, one of the things that they are was the alien race. Yeah, they're blaming the race because the island exists. Absolutely retarded, but yeah. I mean, you saw, and not those guys, but the kids and Rainer saw the Marley sending away people to talk about how the elves are scary. So, and still blaming, so they know that they are, enforcing the fear of Eldians and other races, and they're still blaming their own race for doing it. It's like, you should blame the Marley for doing this huge propaganda, that, oh, you were evil. So it's typical nothing. They're doing this huge propaganda. They have this propaganda machine, right, that spews out that, oh, your people are horrible and so on. This is a horrible race, and they're still blaming their own race for it. It's like, this is really retarded. Like, really retarded. You really talk about time. Yeah, and then like Rainer, I think Rainer, of course, like, maybe the island. But yeah, I think that the Rainer is probably just a minor, because Rainer is like, they were really nice people, and he has this, of course, mental thing, we've seen Emerald now. So he's probably like, yeah, actually, they were pretty nice people, the island demons. Were pretty nice, actually. So he's, yeah. Yeah, and he can't speak about it. They spent 5 whole years on the island with cruel and fiendish demons. He's like, yeah, they were so horrible. Yeah, and they can't speak about it. I mean, that makes sense, though. Like, Rainer isn't allowed to tell anyone what happened on the island, because obviously it'd be like, they're actually not pretty normal people that are just trying to survive. He would just tell everyone that they're actually pretty nice people. So that makes complete sense. That makes complete sense. Oh god, that go back to the Sasha part. One of them just eat a potato out of nowhere. I hate that woman. Yeah, he's like, yeah, she was a fucking demon. She was like, eating this potato, and she was like, it was yummy. Yeah, Shasta blues for you. He's like, damn that uncivilized bastard. Yeah. Yeah, but he's going into his mental thing now, believing he's a soldier, I think. Yeah. Yeah, and she sort of bribed him with half the potato. This is what he remembered, the Sasha Blues part. It was like, damn that woman. Yeah, so they didn't have half the left of it. Hopeless bastards. Yeah, Connie. Yeah, Jean, the hypocrite. Yeah, Marco the killed, of course. Yeah, and then it's the revenge guy that's completely mentally on revenge. Then it's Ymir and Kristan, Historia. Yeah, that was. Yeah, that was truly hellish. She's like, damn it, I like that part the most of my life. It's like, damn it, I like being in the military of Eldians. That was awesome. They were all bad guys, right? I was like, yeah, bad guys. I mean, obviously he should be like, why the fuck am I fighting for Marleys, right? He should be, fuck the Marleys. They're actually pretty nice people on Eldian Island. Yeah, they're all demons. Is it wrongly? Is it wrong? We, the Eldians of the continent, must offer our lives to atone for the gruesome history by the Marleys. This must be wrongly. This must be wrong, right? This page here, because this have to have say to atone for the gruesome history caused by the Eldians. It has to say. It makes no sense that she would say this has to be wrong. It makes no sense to would say, yeah, we the Eldians must to atone for the horrible atrocities by the Marleys. It should also be by us the Eldians. That only makes sense here. It has to be wrong. I can't think she would say that. It's obviously fanatic hating the Eldians, so why would she say Marleys there? Gruesome history caused by the Marleyan. That's it known. Page 56 here, it must be wrongly translated. It cannot be right. I can't see, I don't have the Japanese raw here, but yeah, I cannot believe that will be right. For we are the righteous race, the Eldian. Wait, what? But we are the righteous race? This makes no sense. We, the Eldians of the continent, must be. Is it supposed to say Morlins there? To atone for the history cost, but the Marlians, for we are the right trade. So it's like he actually likes the Eldians now. Okay, okay, I get that part, but it's still the same Eldians there. It makes no sense. She's like, we did the right trade. We the only one that can stop the evil Eldians, so that will, show the world that we are good. That makes sense, that sentence, but it's for that, which is like caused by the Marlians. That has to be wrong, right? It makes no sense otherwise. And it was punished someone left us behind and they ran away to the island. Okay, this makes a little more sense though. She is like, yeah, they left us behind and that's why I hate them. That would make more sense in her character if she was like, hate aliens because they left her ancestors own Morley land, so they couldn't escape with them to the paradise. That would make more sense. We punished them for leaving us behind, yeah. That would make much more sense. Makes her character much better though. But like again, if that was the propaganda they actually had with the aliens, that they generally hate the paradise people because they left them behind, even though it was 100 years ago or whatever, or how much time it was, that would make more sense, right? Yeah, we were abandoned. Okay, so this is actually finally showing some reasonable characterization here. So we see Rainer's a kid here, and his mom is like, yeah, they left us behind, yeah, fuck those people. We're living in our walls, yeah. He's the boy in the wall. Yeah, well, it's like the demons were sitting in the path. I mean, it has to be wrong. It has to say Eldians in the face earlier. Oh, okay, so she fucked a Marlin, yeah, and she was like, yeah, I can't tell you. He's half Marlin then, Rainer, according to his mom. Yeah, she's like, yeah, we're demon blood, but you're half Marlin. Ready as a kid. This is scary, yeah. He's running around here with a gun like bigger than his fucking body, right? No, that's too far away. But yeah, he's like running around here with a gun bigger than his fucking body, pretty much. Okay, so it's Rainer flashback here. Run, you can pigs. You all want to become honorable more, don't you? I guess this is pretty training. Yes, sir. Yeah, Marcel here. Yeah, Marcel was the best one. And Rainer is frustrated. Yeah, and then aiming. Baron was the best. Has accuracy. You pass. And it was the best fighter. Yeah, Rainer was clap. Yeah, and it was the best martial artist. Yeah, the back at this thing. But somehow he managed to do it anyway. So maybe he was good at writing exam. Maybe he had the best brain. I don't know. It's like he failed. Yeah, he failed the running, the physical exam. He failed the aiming exam. He failed the fighting exam. So I guess he passed the writing exam. Like what else would he pass? Yeah, honorable Marlians. But she almost should hate. Oh god, she should hate the Marlians. It makes a little more sense to hate the Eldians though, because she is more like they left us behind. So I like that. I like that a lot. But it still is like, oh, we're living in this camp and we see them like mistreating us all the time, kicking us around and like oh yeah, but I wanna be one of those. It's like, why? Why? That's Zeke maybe. Young there. And they also have wars too. Like, oh god, this story is so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. It's like, oh, they have another war. We have war with the South now. So they have like war with, I don't know, Africa or something. Like, they have some other war. And they're like, when that war is over, we're gonna go and attack paradise. It's like, you cannot have wars constantly. You have this like huge rebellion, grooming rebellion inside of the country all the time. And they have fucking like superpowers, and like if one of them gets to those serum things, they can create like an army of huge titans in your cities. Think about that. That's also kind of weird. Why do they have the internment camps inside actually cities? Like why they should be more outside, having them outside cities, a bit away, right, in the forest somewhere, and being like, okay, here we have our like army, our or camps, because if someone would succeedingly get the serums, get it to like 10 people or whatever, you know, those people would be go crazy, right? Yeah, and then they will just kill everyone. Like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, and they will use wrong amok, right? And like, people could just do that through a rebellion, right, and so on. And they're middle of cities. It's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, like, how could they have war all the time? Damn it, I want the template they would have liked. Like, Rant's backstory was good, and then I was like, okay, back to unbelievable stuff again, because, so they're having another war. So they basically have wars all the time, more or less. They will use, you know, obviously also make the rebellion or so on, you know, have big shit happen, because they'll be like, oh, if our army is over there fighting, okay, let's attack the king, you know, let's go crazy inside the capital and fucking kill them. Well, that's probably what would happen, right? So, okay, apparently the warrior. Okay, so you're gonna pick all of them at once. Oh yeah, I see that girl with like the beeper doors one, yeah. See more, so yeah, let's pick all of the kids. Yeah, like you're gonna leave you behind, Ren, you're weak. Yeah, physical strength, intellect, marksmanship, close combat skills. The only good thing is that he's the most fanatic guy. He has the best writing exam, because he's like, yay, kill every Eldian or what? Like he's the most guy that hates the Eldian the most. That's his only strength. Yeah, hate. Okay, this is Rainer's strength. His hatred for Eldians. Okay, so this is how he got Yaga, yeah, how he got him, Masha's brother, to be out here reporting him. And Baron's so happy him, of course. Yeah, it's like mom and dad, yeah. But she might, I guess it's true, but she might have just told him to that. She's obviously delusional, but yeah. And I was listening, fuck you guys. I didn't care. And she's stepping on a bug or something? It's like blood on her feet? Yeah, you only have 30 years, you know, yeah. I'll be a hero, won't I? Yeah, I'll be the best son in the world. He's obsessed with making his mom happy, Rainer. Then we go to Aaron, of course, from the same age there, his wall. But okay, let's do the review. I mean, I'm basically talking for a long time about that anyway, so just quickly iterate it. Like, because I've been basically reviewing every page, right? It's just kind of like the rating part was good. Like the second half was really good, for sure. Second half was good. The first half was really bad. Like, it's just horrible. I really hate it. It's just like, it's really, really bad. Like, it is rant invoking all the time, right? Like, it's just the problem with it is just so many problems, right? And I mean, I spent like 10 minutes just ranting before I even read it. I was like, this is gonna be a problem with it, this is gonna be the shit with it. And I was right on everything, right? Because all the things I said was like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. All that happened in the chapter again. And like, it makes no sense how she's acting. I actually really liked how his mom did. Kind of shit a little bit there. That was really good. How she was like, I hate them because they left us behind. That was very interesting. And there was finally some more depth to the character there. That she was like, we had Eldians because they fucking left us. That is way better. But the problem I really, really dislike the whole, like, you know, the PTSD thing. That was so bad because they're coming back here as veterans. They're injured, and he's like, oh, let's make fun of them. Like, it's like, oh god, this just makes so little sense in this manga. There is no way people will ever act like this, because yes, you can get one of those fanatics like his mom. You can get those like really delusional fanatic people, and the way you do it and so on would create that. But generally, it wouldn't work, because it's not that you cannot incorporate a country and force them to join your culture and everything that you absolutely have done it in history. Absolutely. They use that their method is just horrible, right? That's my problem. That's my huge problem with it, because the method that the Mars are using is just the crappiest method ever. Like, it's the worst way you can do it. It's one thing to enslave them and like beat them up and mental fuck them, so you either do it or we kill you, and eventually, but you have to treat them nice. You can beat them up and so on, but eventually you have to also treat them nice when they do good stuff for you. So you beat someone up and say, if you don't do this, we will kill you. And if they don't do it, you punish them. When they do it correctly, you reward them, or they say good job or something. You have to give them something physically, but you say, okay, good job. You cannot do that, right? You have to do that a little. And of course, you can much more accept it, like say, oh, if you fight for us, like he actually believed he would do. If you fight for us, your mom can live outside the camp, or your family can have this better life or something, right? But then you can see right now, his mom and so on, they're still living in the fucking ghetto. So even if you are a warrior, your parents doesn't even get to be, outside the ghetto. You're still in the fucking shit there. It's like, what's the point of being a warrior? It has zero value, except that the honor, right? And the honor is like, they still hate you. So it's just, like, this makes so little sense that people would be so willingly, like, even if you see his backstory, he's like, yeah, my mom told me that I have, half demon blood, that I have to kill all the blood demons, and yada yada, and of course you see, just making any sense, right? And I think that's a huge problem with this manga. Like, every damn scene you see the Marleys, they're the worst fucking occupation force ever, right? It's like the rape of non-kin. Right? They're pretty much like, you're not gonna get friends by doing that. That's pretty much how they do it, right? It's like, you're not gonna get friends. And I think there's a really bad writing here, because a huge problem with it is that it's very much like Nazi and the Jews, right? And they have like this, you have the camps, and this is absolutely used, stricken right from Second World War, right? That's pretty much the story. And I think that very cheaply shows how the author has just read some books about the Second World War and just like incorporating exactly what happened here, but claims that would create the alien army, right? Because that's the problem. He's pretty much straight up how Nazi did it, and treating, they're doing the same thing, right? But the problem is that the Nazis' aim wasn't to incorporate and like culturize the Jews to join them. The Nazis wanted to kill them all, right? So they are more the same method as the Nazis pretty much, but that would never create this thing, right? That's a big problem, right? They have the same methodology, but the result is so different, right? And that would never work in reality. That would never work. Like, it is incredibly unbelievable that the people act this. It's one thing that Gabi is super excited, because she actually succeeded with doing something really good. She's quite fanatic, obviously even doing that thing, and then she succeeded. She would probably be like, yeah, I fucking killed them all. She would be that, because she's like succeeding in her fanatism. That makes sense. She makes more and more sense. She's home there, and actually her and Rainer is like cousins or something. It's like her older cousin, and that makes sense. That she would be like, yay, fucking warrior family, like that. She makes a lot more sense actually in that sense. But the other people, especially the general population, especially the people that don't have warrior children or warrior members, like the people that are like enslaved in the camps, they wouldn't be like, woohoo, we're back from the war, because you see like everyone outside the camp is like, fucking Eldians, they are super racist, right? And the second half it pisses me off, because it makes no sense. It is just again more of this like nonsense, shitty writing, how you can enslave people and do everything for you, and this is weird. But okay, the second half was good though. The second half was good. See the Rainer part. I mean, it's good mainly because you see the other kids. You see the fun, right? You see Bernhard, you see Annie, and we see that they're good different stuff, right? Annie's really good at fighting, as we know, when we see those things. He had this loyal thing, maybe he betrayed more sense about it there. The new Yaw guy, and that's how he got the armor power. I don't know, he's talking about telling the people that he was like, traitor, right? Something like that. And that makes sense though, that they have this, if you can, blame each other. That's like how the Korean do it today, North Korea do it today. That's how DDR, Stasi did it, right? How they, everyone is like betraying everyone else, because that thing, you have to tell people what you're doing and so on. That's how North Korea is today, right? You have to tell people every week what the neighbors did and so on. So that makes sense to have that system, absolutely. But the thing is that in North Korea today, they don't have this, like, they believe they're the good guys and so on, but they have very little information. But they actually know about Marley, they know about Paradise. And again, things that North Korea, yes, they're super controlled and so on, but I can bet you fucking money that if you go to North Korea, you won't see this soldier like kicking around and like fucking feeding people to dogs, that kind of system, right? They won't do the shit, right? They won't do this horrible thing to the civilians, right? They won't be nice to them. They will treat them shitty, and they will, you know, they do some horrible people, but they won't like just like yeah, let's rape this woman. That would be fun. I'm guessing his mother probably was raped, by the way. It feels like she probably was more raped than actually had arrested with Marley. That's probably more reasonable than she would blame Paradise, right? And the demons there. That she deserves to be raped because she was demon blood, so on. She was left behind. That's probably how it is, right? But yeah, that thing just makes obviously she is also mind ballistic, so can I get away from that? But it feels like generally that's probably happened to her. Probably happened to a lot of other people in her camp, right, and so on. They are abused, they are eaten, and you know they are enslaved, and you know sexual slavery and yada yada, right? And they do it all the time. So again, then look North Korea today, because the best example we have of this similar system in the real world. They don't do that to their own people, right? They don't do that to the civilians. I mean, they're the same race, but they don't do that to these random civilians. Yes, they are a super army. They have this Stasi system, and they're all treating them horribly, like the army and the control of and so on. But they don't treat this unfairness, brutality on them for fun, right? They can't do that. They still have order, and that's the problem. They don't have order on their military. Like the Marlies are like kicking them around, laughing at them and so on. And keep doing that, sending away Ottomans to talk shit about them and propaganda about the horrible race and so on. And they keep doing all that, and this chapter again enforced that first half. And I was like, oh my god, right? It makes so little sense that they will do that, and people will follow it. It's just like people wouldn't follow that. People wouldn't follow it. Anyway, second half again though, that was good. It was funny seeing that. And of course, Rainer. The interesting with the name, of course, is that Rainer is also a kid in the wall. Yeah, they're in older walls. The Eldians in the older walls, of course. And we're seeing him having just the loyalty, and it's breaking up there because obviously he see that the Eldians are that bad at Paradise, so it's kind of weird he will still fight for them though. Yeah, it's kind of like that's really irritating though that he still is just like completely obsessed with. No, he's not obsessed with it, but I mean he returns there, fights for them. Why haven't they done anything yet? It's like 5 years for now. You know, fighting every day in the war. It's just like, you know, it's strange, right? It's just strange that they will all be so, you know, convicted into this thing, right, and so on. It's just, yeah. And why would the people be like, yeah, when we kill the Paradise, we would be all happy and so on. I mean, I get this mom, but I would guess she's raped by the Marley. She's no idea who the fucking father is, probably. Probably got raped several times, probably. Something like that, I would guess. You know, and the kid blamed the Eldians for leaving her behind, go to delusional fanatic state, hating them and so on. I get her point, and but the problem is like, why would you listen to your mom so much? Because most people won't actually do it. First of all, think about this. For most kids, don't actually listen to the mom in that sense. Some of them do, some of them don't. She's a fanatic. However, though, the problem is that your mom will be like, yeah, the fucking Eldians, they fucking did this to us. And then you go out on the street, you're like 5, and you see this like woman getting like slapped or raped or something probably, or whatever, right? Or someone is like kicking a veteran on the ground, like, you're injured, this is fun, oh, you like that when I poke your wound? Like, you go around and you see that on like a daily basis. That's how the manga presents, right? You see that, like, after your mom is like, yeah, the Marlies are good people, you're only half demon. You like go out and be like, okay, I'm half demon. What are those people like pointing needles into that guy? Like, because even if they are supposed to be evil, so to speak, so they deserve it. It's kind of like, no. So I just have an enormous problem like buying that, and I want to be like, yeah, my mom is right. We are the demon, because those people, they are the nice people. Like, yeah, you see what I mean? And that's the big problem, right? If the Marlies were treating them like horseshit and doing crap to them, you know, behind the surface, right? And obviously, you know, having an arm and so on. But not doing it in public. They do it in public all the time, and that's a bad writing here. That's a really bad writing, because they write to kind of present some like, as I say again, then super racist, Nazi people, and they're like, yeah, let's fucking do this and this to them, let's fucking burn them alive in front of them because it's funny and so on. They do this really horrible, you know, classic racist thing, right? constantly every fucking day, every fucking scene he gets the chance to do it, he does it. And that's the kind of scare effect, and the more horrible. Look at like email backstory of the anime last week. And the dude is like, yeah, it's so bad, and you kill them, and throw stones at them, and you have that thing constantly, right? It just makes no sense, right? It just makes sense. I mean, the more actions that the people make sense, that they hate them and so on, but they wouldn't, the army and so on couldn't do that. This casual demeanor. I mean, they could do it, but the thing is that, I mean, if they do that, you don't get loyalty, right? That's the problem. It just makes no little sense, and I think this chapter, again, it was enforced that it's fucking retarded. It's just fucking retarded, the whole thing. But the second half, it really was pretty good though, and it seems to be actually be against the Mali now. So finally, someone with some realization there, but it feels like a lot of more people would be like, wow, this is shit, right? We have that kid that likes Gabi, and we have him pretty much. And everyone else is like, yay, Marley! Like, it is stupid. It is really, really stupid. So yeah, like, second half was pretty fun to read. It didn't give us that much stuff. You saw very new, except that he was, I guess, the most loyal guy, and he's also the guy that actually realized that they're wrong, so that's a little interesting. And the first half was just crap. So anyway, see you guys next time with this horrible manga. I'm still waiting for it to finally get back here, man. It's just so... I think one big problem here is we don't really care about them. Like, I have so little concern for this, like, fucking brainwashed people like Gabi. They're like, wow, you're an idiot. Like, oh, you're mistreated by these racist douchebags, and they are mistreating everyone around you all the fucking time, but you're still like, yay, I killed these older people, woohoo, funny. It's like, no, she is the most reasonable, because she actually succeeded with her big plan. So she would be the most, had the most adrenaline, the most, dopamine in her right now. She would be the most brain fucked of them right now. That makes sense though, in her defense though. She is the most reasonable being, the most fanatic now. But everyone else would be like, meh, like, I don't know. Anyway, see you guys. Have a great